northern Canada. So we see some pretty cold weather up there, and it would occasionally snow, which is a pretty surreal experience. Martian snow falls slower because the gravitational coefficient is less. So if you think watching snow here is this kind of cool, quiet experience because it's all nice and fluffy and slow, on Mars, it's really amazing because it's coming down in slow motion, and it's this very, very, very quiet, slow, surreal experience. If nothing else is going on, it's distracted from it anyway. The first time that I was there and it snowed, it was just very, very strange experience, very surreal. We were always kind of like,
Okay, so you're talking about being on surface of Mars. Are you talking about the Mars that we see and we think we know in this dimension? Or are you talking about a fourth dimensional Mars?
oh no, I'm absolutely talking about the physical planet of Mars that we know and understand to be right now, in which our rover and probe is on right now. No, we're absolutely talking about the same place. So some important things to note about it. It's not exactly the way NASA tells us. NASA tells us that it doesn't have a breathable oxygen atmosphere. That's not true. It does. Now, it's not super breathable in the sense that this is more like thin mountain air for us. So it's really not recommended outside the equatorial regions to try and like survive without an environment suit. The equatorial regions can be a bit warmer and a bit more mild and temperate. So it's not the worst thing in the world, apparently, to just be sort of exposed in street clothing, so to speak. But you get any of the directions farther north or south, and you're going to get way more extreme temperatures and winds and so forth, and you're going to need some protection. But again, it is, you're going to need some oxygen assistance and some breathing assistance if you're going to do any physical moving or fighting, that's for sure. So we never went outside without an environment suit, without a powered environment suit that's with body armor and everything else that we needed all in one package.
But did you have structures that you occupied on the surface, or was it all underground?
We were inside of a mountain, and pretty much everything, as I understand, is underground. I mean, there may be some facilities which operate on the surface or do things on the surface, but really 99% of everything that you want to stay functioning has got to be underground. It is still susceptible to some pretty intense windstorms. Still 100, 150 mile an hour, 200 mile an hour windstorm could really ruin your day, no matter what you are above ground.
What about meteor showers? Is there a problem with that?
You're kind of close to the asteroid belt there, so there are a good number, of meteor showers, but I wouldn't say that a lot of them touch down. Like here, there's an atmosphere, and most of them just burn up. So it's not uncommon, in a night sky to see lots of shooting stars, but I don't recall ever seeing like a meteorite or an asteroid hit when I was there.
Okay,
and there's active defense systems against that as well. I should point out that Mars also has active defense systems against that sort of thing. So,
well what about a shield? In other words, sort of a shield. Actually, I don't know if you'd acknowledge this, but from what I understand, we have a shield here over some portions of the Earth, even at this time. It may be made of a certain even I don't understand necessarily the technology they're using, but it first of all will tell them if there's any incoming craft and light it up sort of like a candle. But at the same time, it also is apparently some kind of a shield that resists penetration. Did you detect anything like that on Mars?
I don't know anything about that level of technology specifically. I can say that I do know that a number of field experiments are being done on our planet, Mars, other planetary bodies that we occupy, where you may want to do any kind of field development, to have any kind of just cloaking devices and other kind of shield protecting devices, sensors, anything that's going to let you know when someone's coming in, things that are going to protect you, or things that are going to keep you hidden. Pretty much. And the moon certainly has a cloaking device around it. Mars certainly has a cloaking device around it. We certainly have a cloaking device around us to keep things, at a certain distance away from being able to see or detect us. And it's supposed to mute, all those radio waves that are bouncing out of the planet and let everybody